Okay. Hi, folks. Just want to welcome you to my first vodcast or video podcast. This is about the what's up in the October 2020 night sky. So if you look at the star chart here, all of your summer constellations are heading towards the west here. Ophiuchus, Hercules, Aquila, Sagittarius is halfway on the horizon now. So these summer constellations are now setting and moving on. Our autumn constellations are now kind of front and center. They're high up in the south. Pegasus, Cassiopeia is near the zenith. Pisces and Aquarius are high up as well. And in the east, you have your very early winter or late autumn constellations like Taurus and Orion is barely coming up over the horizon. Auriga, the charioteer, is coming up over the horizon. So those are the things that are coming up in the winter, but are on your horizon right now. So we're doing pretty good with planets as far as visibility is concerned. Both Jupiter and Saturn are in the southwest after nightfall. You can see them here on the map here. This is south and this is west. So this is the horizon over here. So you want to see them early in the evening because they will set rather quickly. Jupiter, its cloud belts are visible and its moons, and as well as Saturn and its rings. As well as some of its moons, like the brighter one, like Titan. It's the largest moon. But again, you want to look at these earlier because they'll start sinking lower and the atmosphere will begin to interfere. Mars, however, is now front and center. It's putting on its best display until 2035. Opposition is October 13th. But all month, it'll be very well-placed for viewing or photographing. In fact, this was taken by one of the people on the Dobsonian Facebook page. And you can see how well it's coming out and how much surface detail you're actually getting to see. And you have to see that through the eyepiece and the telescope. You need to get some power on it, but at least 150 power or more if the atmosphere is allowing you to do that. In good moments. And what do we talk about when we talk about opposition? Opposition is essentially when, so this is a kind of a very poor diagram, exaggerated diagram of the solar system, where you have, this is the sun at the center, Earth, Mars, and then you can see Jupiter and Saturn also here. And in the background here are the background constellations. So these are foreground objects, obviously, but when we see them, we look up at the night sky. This is kind of how they look. So you can see Jupiter and Saturn are kind of right in between Sagittarius and Capricornus over here, and almost kind of form pretty much a right angle between us and the sun at the moment. So they're at quadrature. They'll be showing a shadow off to this side right now. But Mars, going back to opposition, when the sun sets, Mars rises. So it's directly opposite the sun right now. So the Earth is literally in between the sun, literally in between the sun and Mars at this moment. It's also the closest we'll get at this point too. So if you look at our, these are another exaggeration of Earth's orbit. With Mars's orbit, we have every 2 years, we have these close approaches right around the time of opposition, and right now about the Earth and Mars around 35 or so million miles, give or take a few. And that's why it looks large as it does right now. The last one that was really this good was 2018, but it was low on the horizon. And so we had a lot of atmosphere to contend with. Not so much this time. We're actually going to get a better view, even though it's slightly smaller, 22 arc seconds instead of 24. So if we look here, the next one in 2022 would only be 17 arc seconds. 2025, 14.5. 2027, the worst at 13.8. Now, so these are going to be further away. The only good thing about these oppositions, they'll be even higher up than they are now. Taurus, Gemini, and Leo are very high up from the horizon when Mars is there. But this is still the best one as far as combination of size and height above the horizon. So go out there and view sooner than better. You know, you have at least all of October and some of November to get some of the best views. But again, you'll have no better time than right now. Uranus and Neptune are also visible in the night sky. Uranus is also hanging out in Pisces at the moment. Well, right between Pisces and Aries, actually. I'm a little bit off there. But it's just to the east of Mars. And Neptune is over here in Aquarius. It's pretty much front and center, high in the south. Just another thing to be wary of is your October moon phases. So your best lunar viewing tends to be around first quarter, last quarter. Crescent phases, get as much profile as you can. Also, the best time to view deep sky objects is, you know, this week and part of next week when they have going towards a new moon or waning or waxing crescent. It doesn't light up the sky and cause interference with your viewing of deep sky objects and fainter objects. We do have a meteor shower to talk about. It's the Uranid meteor shower. So it peaks on the 21st, but anytime between October 20th and 22nd is good to go out and have a look. Basically, after midnight, you know, you want to wait for Orion to rise. It is the Uranid meteor shower, so it's coming from the direction of Orion. So this is the radiant. So Orion will be low in the east right now. So the longer you wait for it to come up, the better chance you have. And again, you want to do it, you know, 20th, 21. There's only a crescent moon, waxing crescent, so the moon will set by the time Orion rises. So it really won't interfere with the meteor shower this year. Your deep sky objects. These are the objects that are outside of the solar system. These are far away. They could be within our galaxy or in another galaxy. Again, you want to be wary of your moon phases because it hampers your ability to see deep sky objects. So you want to start from going from west to east because as the night goes on, these constellations will set. The ones that are in the west will set soon. So you want to be observing from west to east. So you'll want to look at M92 and M13. These are globular clusters in Hercules. You want to have a look at them quickly. And Lyra, pretty much high in just off the zenith, but more towards the west now. And the Dumbbell Nebula also, see M57 and M27 are also planetary nebulas. These are very good nebulas to grab a view at. Globular clusters M15 and M2. You have M15 in Pegasus, just off the foot here of the bright star Enif. And M2 is in Aquarius. Down, if you have a good view to the horizon and a dark sky, I'd say at least, close to Jenny Jump, you can view the Helix Nebula. The Helix Nebula is another planetary. It's very large in telescopes, but it's diffuse, so it'll look very dim. So that's why you want that dark sky. The famous Andromeda Galaxy is really well placed for viewing now. It's high up in the east, almost near zenith, along with M33. Now, M33, you want a darker sky side, again, for the reason it's kind of diffuse. It's hard to find. The Perseus open cluster, Great Perseus double cluster, is also on view and pretty high up. I would say the high in the northeast. And if you wait, after 10, 11 o'clock, Pleiades will start rising in the east. And if you're up really late, M1, the supernova remnant, will be viewable as well in Taurus. But that might be better to wait a month or two before trying to view that, so it has a chance to get higher in the sky. So I get a bit of a close-up with some of these deep sky objects. So we're looking at Hercules. This is called the keystone of Hercules. And so here is M13 and M92. They're very similar. 13 is probably the most famous in the northern hemisphere. So these are stars that cannot be, they cannot escape their own gravity. They're very old stars, about 11 billion years of age. So they're very, very tiny. They're very smaller stars, long-lived, and they cannot escape each other's gravity. Another good object is the Ring Nebula in Lyra. So in the autumn and the summer, you get to see it. It's more straight up and down. Lyra starts to tip on its side when it starts to set in the autumn. So in between the two bottom stars in Lyra, you'll find the Ring Nebula. And on a really good night of seeing, no moon, steady atmosphere, you might even see the white dwarf in the center. The Dumbbell Nebula. So if you take a line through Vega, go right through the head of Cygnus to Swan, and go keep going down, you'll find the Dumbbell Nebula. It's a larger apparent size nebula than the Ring Nebula. There's a picture I took of it just last month in my 14-inch Dobsonian. Again, if you a really good night of seeing, you might catch the white dwarf at the center, but mostly you'll see what looks like either an apple core or a dumbbell, and it's an expanding bow shock from this star that gave off its outer shell once it collapsed into a white dwarf. So both the Ring Nebula and the Dumbbell Nebula could be the future of what our solar system will look like in about 5 billion years, because these are thought to be stars that are the same size as our sun. Another favorite in Cygnus to Swan is the Veil Nebula. So this is a supernova remnant. So the supernova occurred here, and so these are these clouds of gas here, or the bow shock of expanding gas. So this is a very old supernova, now thought to be about 16,000 years ago. But it's beautiful in the telescope. With a light pollution filter, oxygen 3 would be best. It also comes up wonderful in pictures. In Pegasus, we have globular cluster M15. So if you go off, the Great Square, and you go down right off of here, and here's Enif, the bright star, just go off on a little diagonal there, and you'll find M15. So one of the ones that everyone ways to see in the autumn is the Great Andromeda Galaxy. This is the closest galaxy to our own, and similar size to the Milky Way. So if we, this is about 2.5 million light years distant. So that's how long the light takes to get here. So in order to find it, you see the Great Square of Pegasus. You can go off of Alpheratz and down to Merock and make a right turn, and you'll find the Andromeda Galaxy. My favorite way is actually to go off of the W in Cassiopeia, the star of Skedar, kind of points in the direction of the Andromeda Galaxy. If you scan over with your binoculars or your telescope, you'll find it also pretty easily. And if you're in a dark enough sky, if you're close to Jenny Jump or western New Jersey, northern New Jersey, it'll even be naked eye. So the Great Perseus double cluster. This is an open cluster. These are young stars, not old stars, roughly about 200 or so million years of age. So these stars are not gravitationally bound, but they were born in the same stellar nursery and are now spreading apart from one another. So how to find these? And if you have a wide field telescope, or if you have a pair of binoculars, these show up really nice. So again, there's your star in the W in Cassiopeia, Skedar. And you kind of go down off of Skedar and maybe a little bit to the right, you'll find the W cluster pretty easily. And it's right near some of the Milky Way's spiral arms go through that cluster as well. So you'll be flooded with stars. And last but not least, you'll have the Pleiades and in Taurus, and the constellation Orion. Orion's a little early yet, but if you're up late at night, 1, 2 in the morning, you'll see it above the eastern horizon. And the Pleiades will be coming out ahead of it. So these are also very young stars, also known as the Seven Sisters. These have just about used up all their nebula gas, and these are mostly bright blue stars at that point. So happy hunting with your deep sky and planetary quest this month, and I bid you good day.